Guys, this is Asal. In this video, I'll be talking about space law. First of all, I'd like to say, even though we want to satisfy our curiosity, we must keep our environment clean. Then, I'll be talking about how the space law came to be. So think to yourself, how did space law come to be? The space law began when space race happened. That's when we started needing space law. We have the hard law and the soft law. I'm going to go through that in the video. Then I'm going to talk about different types of law. So in 1967, we started with the Outer Space Treaty. Then we had the Rescue Agreement in 1968. 1972 was the Liability Convention, 1975 Registration Convention, and finally 1979 the Moon Agreement. In a second, I'm going to go a little bit more through it. And I would like to tell you that in 2019, just recently, a lot happened. Because what happened is that countries suddenly started to announce that they must create a military in space. So what's going to happen now? Think to yourself, what kind of laws will apply right now? Will military law be enough for outer space? The answer to that is no, because military law is good for here on earth, but we are going to need new laws. So even though there's going to be a lot of gaps in our laws because technology is moving so fast and we must keep up with our laws, but there's still some principles that are defined that we can follow. So, what treaties and laws deal with space specifically? As I told you, there's the Outer Space Treaty of the 1967. About 110 countries adopted it, and they laid down these principles of law that we must conduct in outer space. Then we created the Rescue Agreement in 1968. So the Rescue Agreement is basically dealing with the rescue of our astronauts in space, or very expensive space objects, or just basically any space object. Well, not the space junk objects, but mostly the Rescue Agreement deals with the rescue of astronauts and space objects. Next, we made the Liability Convention of the 1972. This dealt with the damages that had to do with outer space. For example, the damages caused by launching, or the damages that are caused in outer space. And also in the 1975, we created the Registration Convention. This has to do with making the objects in space very clear. So when objects go to space, they must be registered. And finally, we have the Moon Agreement. This one, it is not that enforceable. It is very weak because the main countries such as United States, Russia, and China, they did not become parties to this agreement, unfortunately. But it still has some value. We can still look at it, but the main countries are not a part of it. The next thing I'd like to be talking about is, what is the Outer Space Treaty exactly? This treaty is a treaty on principles governing the activities of states in the exploration and use of outer space, including the moon and the other celestial activities. And also, what does the Outer Space Treaty say? The Outer Space Treaties has a list of do's, a list of don'ts. Basically, you can explore and you can use the benefit, but you cannot do something such as take nuclear weapons out there and suddenly claim that something out there is yours. For example, you cannot just take the flag and just put it on the moon and say the moon belongs to me now. You're probably wondering this right now. If someone plants a flag somewhere, does this mean that that place belongs to them? No. If you're planting a flag on the moon, this doesn't mean the moon belongs to you. It just kind of means, oh, hey, we've been here. It's kind of the equivalent of you writing your name on a monument or writing your name on a tree. Does this mean the monument belongs to you? Does this mean that the tree belongs to you? No. All you're doing with this is that you're saying, hey, I've been here, and that's all there is to it. So you cannot own the things in space. And also the next thing is, what else does the Outer Space Treaty say? It talks about the obligations and also the country's roles. For example, astronauts must be given assistance, consultation in case of dangerous activities. UN Secretary Generally must be informed, and also stations and installations. And also with the country role, the states are responsible for their national activities in space, and don't forget the launching states are liable for damages caused by their space objects, and also states have a jurisdiction and control over their registered space object and its personnel. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say in this video. I've also created a short presentation for you. I hope you enjoy it. Good luck and keep safe and healthy.